Hi friends, I'm Dr. Mazhar. Welcome to my channel, Doctor's Cut, like the director's cut. Hope you're all doing well, you're all safe and sound. This is my first YouTube video ever. I know I have arrived a bit late here, sure got a lot of catching up to do, as there's no dearth of content on YouTube and there's a sea of YouTubers both entertaining you and enlightening you as well. Me being a doctor, don't get worried, I'm not going to lecture you regarding COVID or COVID appropriate behavior, how to wear your mask correctly, how to keep your hands clean. I'm sure you already know it by now, but I would still request you, please don't let your guard down yet, as COVID's still around, it's not gone away. So please take all necessary precautions to keep yourself and your family safe. As we are mostly locked in our houses due to COVID and lockdowns, the spare time made me think and made me want to share some thoughts through this platform. Like most of you, I've always been very fond of the creative arts, a big movie buff, a lover of music, just like you. So let's begin by appreciating an Indian regional language, a Tamil language film I saw on Netflix recently. The film is Jagame Thandhiram, meaning the world is tricky. Can't agree more. I'm sure the world was never trickier than what it is now. The film is directed by Mr. Karthik Subbaraj, has Dhanush and Aishwarya Lakshmi as the main leads with an ensemble of supporting cast, with the very intense Mr. Jojo George as Sivadas, who is also playing a bad guy but with a big heart, and he is like the Robin Hood of Tamils in the UK. And there is James Cosmo of the Game of Thrones fame, who's the nemesis. Dhanush as Surali, a ruthless gangster from Madurai, a city in Tamil Nadu, is phenomenal. Though Dhanush has donned the hat of gangster many a times before in films like Vada Chennai, Pudupettai, he still manages to bring freshness and traits unique to Surali's character. The film has received mixed responses both from the audience and the critics. So I am going to talk mostly about the things I really liked. According to Karthik Subbaraj, in an interview he gave to the First Post, Jagame Thandhiram began as a one-liner. What happens when a gangster from Madurai gets an opportunity to rub shoulders with a mafia in London? The film tracks the story of Surali the gangster from Madurai, who's hired by Peter to kill his rival Sivadas. As Surali goes by getting the job done, he is faced with a moral dilemma and has to take sides. This precisely is the plot of the film. As we are all aware of Karthik Subbaraj's fascination with gangsters and gangster films like the classics Godfather and Scarface, which he time and again mentions as his inspirations in his interviews. This film too has all that gangster stuff, the goons, the guns, the shootouts. The action sequences have been stylishly shot where the bullets are being fired from everywhere, the blood's being splashed in slow motion, very Quentin Tarantino-like, I would say. Extensive use of the color red, which represents violence and rage in a gangster film like this, has been brilliantly done by Shreyas Krishna's cinematography. And it would be unfair not to mention Santosh Narayan's music, which brings the narrative alive. Do check out the meme made out of the Rakita Rakita song from this film on Donald Trump. It's hilarious, guys. It's the second part of the story that talks about a much bigger problem, the importance of home. The plight of the refugees, their trials and tribulations, and their treatment by the so-called wealthy, developed and the first world nations. In this particular film, it's the UK. And Bicor, an immigration law which has a vague reference to Brexit and populist divisive politics we have been witnessing around the world in the recent times. This is where I overlooked the slightly predictable first half and the abrupt transition from the first half to the second, and started caring for the story. And according to Karthik Subbaraj again, it's not just the gangsters that excite him. It's the underlying emotion that fascinates him the most. In fact, any great story has to have the emotion that resonates with the human condition. Aishwarya Lakshmi brings great sympathy to the character of a Sri Lankan Tamil seeking refuge in the UK in the film. The scenes in the UK are shot at beautiful and picturesque locales, which I felt is an antithesis and a constant reminder of how beautiful these countries look from the outside and how their politics have been around the world. I agree that these countries are beautiful to live in. They have a better quality of life and standard of living for an average citizen. But that doesn't justify their politics. This film seems to have been getting a lot of criticism, saying that the maker has not done enough homework in dealing with the whole canvas of the refugee issue. But come on, this is a popular commercial film starring a popular actor. If you're really looking to watch something on the refugee problem in very detail, I recommend you watch a series called Stateless on Netflix. Particular mention to certain things Karthik Subbaraj has tried to convey through the film. When Aishwarya Lakshmi's character tells Dhanush that he has committed an atrocity by killing Sivadas and caused agony to many who were dependent on Sivadas for justice, Dhanush realizes he's done something really wrong and responds, "One can't feel it until it happens to himself." He also says, while growing up, the refugee issue was a mere piece of news for him, as it did not affect the place or people where he lived. We have indeed become very insensitive to other people's pains and sorrows. One can't think of a better ending to a story like this, where Peter, the villain, the racist, is smuggled out of UK and all his identity as a citizen of UK is destroyed, and he is brought into this wilderness of a Middle Eastern terrain. And when Peter asks where he is told he is in middle of the land which the wealthy, the supremacist nations have destroyed in the war for oil. And as Peter was expecting that Surili would kill him, Peter says, "Surili, it's really a long way to come just to kill me." Surili says, life sometimes is a bigger punishment than death. And finally, towards the end of the film, there's a very thought-provoking line by Surili again. War can only be begun or started, it can never be ended. This, my friends, is the sad and harsh truth of human history. And on a lighter note, another interesting thing Karthik Subbaraj does in his films is that he never misses an opportunity to pay homage to the musical greats of Mr. Ilayaraja and Mr. A.R. Rahman. Both their songs find a way through this film. I find this quality of his very endearing, as he's bringing those timeless classics back. So we shall end the video with a few lines of Mr. A.R. Rahman's song that is used in the film. Hey, 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 மண்ணின் மீது மனிதனு காசை மனிதன் மீது மண்ணு காசை. They make a lot of sense to the narrative. If you don't understand, do Google it. Hope you liked the video. If you did, please don't forget to hit the like button and please do subscribe to my channel. Meet you soon in the next video. Take care and be safe. Bye bye.